national security team could lead the United States into war. John Bolton, a former U.S. ambassador to the United Nations and Fox News contributor, is known as an aggressive hawk who advocates for aggressive U.S. military intervention. In the past, and by the way, he's going to replace H.R. McMaster, pictured there. In the past, Bolton has argued for attacking North Korea to try and neutralize its nuclear program. He's also called for bombing Iran rather than continuing with the nuclear deal. Last year, Bolton spoke about regime change in Iran.
I think the regime in Tehran is very fragile. I think there's enormous domestic opposition to it. The regime has the guns. We saw that in 2009 when the Basiji militia put down demonstrations against the fraudulent outcome of the election. So it's very hard for the popular will to be expressed. But as with many authoritarian societies, when pressure grows, sometimes it can collapse overnight.
We'd like to welcome Kenneth Vecchio, Republican strategist and former prosecutor. He joins us in studio. I want to talk about policies in a sec, but there's some Trump defenders who say, oh, the Trump White House is not chaotic, it's functioning normally. And yet we saw Ambassador Bolton say on Fox News that he was caught by surprise by the announcement that the president didn't give him a heads up. That doesn't sound like a White House that's functioning very smoothly.
The White House isn't functioning chaotically at all. John Bolton was interviewed. You know, I think he was just pleasantly surprised that he got the job. Hey, a dream of a lifetime job, and it's a second one for him, probably a third one, given that he was ambassador than a Fox News analyst. So I think he's just psyched about it.
All right, how about the argument from some Republicans who, oh, the president is carrying out his campaign policies that got him elected. I seem to remember Donald Trump campaigning on an America First strategy to bring troops back from military intervention.
Well, first of all, he is unemployment at the lowest level in decades.
I'm talking about foreign policy.
I know what you're talking about.
And on foreign policy, John Bolton is an interventionist. He's somebody who has advocated for a military overthrow of Iran. He has advocated for a military bombing of North Korea. That doesn't sound like what Donald Trump promised the American voters.
That's a great exaggeration about what John Bolton is. Now, Donald Trump...
He also advocated for getting rid of the top 6 floors of the United Nations and said we wouldn't miss them. Now, you might agree with that, but he has said, let's bomb Iran instead of that's the best way to deal with their nuclear program.
Give me a chance to give a qualitative response to this.
Okay.
You know, everybody's up in arms about John Bolton supposedly being a warmonger. He is not. We have to think about this. You know, we should only go to war under one circumstance, when it's to protect our national security directly. And that's all John Bolton has ever done. Why? Because, well, he thought that it was great to go to war in Iraq. He did.
Right.
Now, wait.
So said he's not advocating war except when it's in the U.S. national interest. He advocated for the United States to be having a war in Libya.
Well, what was
in the U.S. national interest in Libya?
Let's talk about Iraq for a second, something that really happened.
Something that he believes was worth doing.
Yeah.
Only 22% of Americans feel that way.
Not necessarily the truth. At the time, nearly every American leader thought it was the right thing to go to war in Iraq because we thought there was WMDs there.
Oh, I agree. But he still believes it was the right thing to do.
Yeah, but there's no proof that there's not WMDs there. Saddam Hussein, a smart enough guy, had intelligence that we were coming in to invade Iraq. The country is huge.
Never found WMDs. Everyone said that. Even Saddam's own people said that the reason that people thought there were WMDs is because he was bluffing to try to block Iran. There was no WMD program.
What does it mean that we never found them? That doesn't mean anything. The country is twice the size of Texas. They could have hit them there, and on top of it, they could have shipped them out of there.
How could they ship them out when the United States was invading and was surrounding all of their major cities?
The country is massive.
Come on.
They have great intelligence resources. They could have easily shipped them out of there. I'm not saying they were there. I'm not saying they weren't there. But it's not silly.
They weren't there.
But it's not.
I'm saying they were not there. The Bush administration is saying they were not there. The United Nations said they were not there. Iraq said they were not there. But regarding Ambassador Bolton,
yes,
is it possible that maybe he just advocates for Donald Trump and, look, maybe the president reins him in?
Look, don't be afraid about John Bolton being a national security advisor for reasons that I'm already stating, that the guy is not some true warmonger. He's only thinking about making threats to potentially go to war if our national security is in direct jeopardy, okay? And Donald Trump is his own man. Donald Trump is not manipulated by anybody. You know what Donald Trump does if he doesn't like, if people advise him a way that doesn't go along with his agenda? He fires them.
That's right. We're on our 3rd national security advisor in 15 months, so that's obviously very clear. But Donald Trump also believes that we should not be involved in the Iran nuclear deal. What's the alternative to stopping Iran's nuclear program if it's not this deal? It's bombing Iran, right?
Look, These threats about bombing are only to let these crazy dictators know that, hey, if you guys threaten us, then we are the biggest country in the world, and we will bomb the hell out of you. It's only a little bit of a mind game. None of these people are actually really wanting to go out and bomb them. Think about this. I
think John Bolton really does want to bomb Iran. He really does want to get out of the Iran nuclear deal and bomb them. But I'll give you the last
Getting out of the Iran nuclear deal is not the same thing as wanting to bomb them. Think about Pearl Harbor. This is what I want to add. Think about Pearl Harbor.
Kenneth, there's no alternative. If we need to stop Iran's nuclear program, if we can't stop them because we decided the nuclear deal is trash, the only way to stop them is to bomb them. But in any case, we're going to have this discussion with you again.
There's many alternatives.
Kenneth Vecchio, Republican strategist, former prosecutor, and a very worthy advocate for his positions. Kenneth, thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you,
And now we'll look beyond stateside in our global roundup.